Hello, friends from the manga world. My name is G,
And I'm Hector.
and we're here to talk about the May 2024 new releases. Hector and we work for Penguin Random House, so the titles that we are talking about are those that we manage sales around the world. And aside from YouTube, we're on social media platforms at PRH International Comics. So I'll post a direct link to those social media platforms down below. And just to give you an overview, if you are new to these videos, we first start off with our picks that we are particularly interested in. We'll go into volume ones, and then we'll leave you with the rest of the list for continuing volumes. So we'll go ahead and get started here, and it would actually be my first pick.
Sorry, it took me a while to get to the next slide.
And I love this cover. This is I See Your Face Turned Away. This is from the creator of My Sweet Girl. This is a manga about four teenagers and their unrequited love. We have a character named Hickory who is very, very ordinary, but she has taken up this hobby of imagining what romance would be like between her pretty friend and this cute guy in class called Atani. And, it's all harmless fun. It's just like, just imagination and, but that role becomes entangled in her mind and Hikaru's mind. And she's thinking, why do I have to be the side character? Why am I just the best friend in this love story? Like, why can't I be like the protagonist? But then she starts to question, I'm like shipping them together, but like something is going on because Atani's mind is drifting away. Like she sees his eyes linger on someone else. And so hence the teenage unrequited love journey that you can go on with this title. So yes, really fun. And yeah.
Very cool. Next is my first pick is the Apothecary Diaries #1 light novel. By now, unless you've been living under a rock, you should know what the Apothecary Diaries is. At least you should have heard about it. It is not only a very successful manga, but also has become a very successful anime that is still, I think, one or two episodes from finishing its first season. And now we're getting in May the English edition of the first volume of the light novel. I'm a big fan. I became a big fan, reading it as a manga and now as the anime. And now I know I'm looking forward to the light novel. If you don't know the story very quickly, is Mao Mao, who you see here on the cover. She is the daughter of an apothecary, and she uh, from circumstances, which is part of the fun of the show, she is sort of kidnapped and forced to work at the palace, which I guess it was normal during that time period. And the back palace, actually, where the concubines are. And she is very smart because her father trained her to be, and she finds herself in situations where she has to investigate and solve mysteries. And then they start as very tiny mysteries, like something disappears or something, and we don't know what happens. Oh, sorry. And she doesn't come to the palace as an apothecary, she just comes to work, but then they realize she has a lot of knowledge and she becomes a taster. So she tastes the food for one of the concubines before they eat it, so to test for poison. And she sort of has an obsession with this kind of thing. She loves eating poison and discovering what it is and how to cure poisons and all that, which is a little bit weird, but in a very cool way. And like I said, there's all these mysteries that start happening, and there are all these very cool characters that she has to interact with. And there's a lot of things that got me to involved. I started researching if some of the stuff is a lot of the stuff that they show on this manga is true. It was true back in the day, and the way they conduct themselves, the politics behind it, the costumes and everything that had to do with it, and the hierarchy and the bureaucracy of the back palace. And also not just the back palace, but also, with you know the dynamics between people from the palace and not from the palace and all of this. So it is very cool. It's if you like historical dramas, if you like, it has comedy in it too. It has mystery, sort of like I said, and eventually no spoilers, but some of the smaller mysteries that she solves, they start connecting to each other to bigger plots. So I'm really excited because I know the light novel is going to have a lot more of that, and it's going to show me more than the anime or the manga was able to show me. So this is a big hit for Square Enix. It's something that it's, like I said, a best-selling book. And on top of that, the anime, and it's just finishing up the first season. So definitely is a light novel that I feel a lot of fans are going to be looking for. So keep an eye out for this one, and then continue to do the next volumes. I believe the next one is coming in November. So definitely keep an eye out on it. And the manga continues. So check that out too.
Next up, we have Kayak's Yaku Bound by Law Volume 1. If this cover image is recognizable, you're probably a J-drama fan because the actors recreated this cover in one of their posters, which is really cool. So this one is about Ichiro, who's an agent for Tokyo Metro Security Bureau, and he's tasked with keeping an eye out and surveil this Yakuza hotshot named Shiro, who has the tendency of betting male like politicians, like influential male politicians. And so they realize that they're actually after the same thing. Like they're on two opposite sides, but they realize that they have a common goal, and that's to investigate the disappearance of Rion. So Ichiro, who's from the Tokyo bureau, he knows Rion as his senior, and then Shiro the Yakuza knows Rion as his sister, that's his sister. And so they're very invested in trying to figure out what happened to Rion. So in this effort to discover the truth, they secretly team up under the guise as lovers, and they try to pick up her trail. As you could tell, they're really close.
Yeah.
I just love it. I just love this kind of story. And yes, if you haven't watched the J-drama, this is a lot of fun as well, which gain so much traction with fans, or likely are going to come after this manga as well, that we're coming out with this English edition. And this will include like bonus manga strips as well between chapters, which is quite nice. I love when they do that. So yeah, uh, really excited for this title to come out.
Yeah. Very great. And we continue with Nina, the Starry Bride, number 4. It's written by Rikashi. And this, I'm going to take you back to the beginning of the story, not volume 4, right? And it's a story about of this world. 5 years ago, the plague wiped out uh, most of the Great Land, and the population. I'm looking for the name of the place, Fortuna. And this character that you see, the girl you see here, Nina, she's a girl with deep blue eyes, and her parents were among the casualties of that pandemic. And in order to survive, she goes to the streets and she teams up with some orphans, other orphans, and starts stealing from the wealthy. But unfortunately, at one point, she gets abducted by a mysterious group. And then when suddenly she realizes that her capture is a suri that Seth Fortuna, the prince, or second born prince of the royal family. And the reason he kidnapped her is, even though she doesn't look, so his sister, the princess, was perished in an accident, and she was promised to the crown prince of a neighboring kingdom, and they needed that marriage to take place to avoid a war. And even though Nina doesn't look anything like her sister, she does have the same deep blue eyes. So this prince decides to say, "Hey, I'm gonna, you know, try to pass you as my sister, so you can go on with the marriage and save the kingdom." And of course, she, you know, goes and she meets the prince, and she's supposed to get married, and there's gonna be a lot of intrigue, and it mentions here, one of the comps that mentions is ancient Maga's bride, because it is that sort of like she's in a situation she doesn't really want to get married, but then there's more. She starts to sort of have feelings for this other prince, maybe or not. There's also the Apothecary Diaries as a comp, because there's also a little bit of mystery happening in there. So it is a very cool, also for the fans of Apothecary Diaries, and that kind of period drama mystery, a little bit of romance in there. And of course, it's sort of like classic, a little bit. You probably got a little bit of the Prince and the Pauper, also a little bit of Oliver twist because she's in the streets stealing and that kind of thing. So rags to riches kind of thing. So there's a lot going on in here. So a little bit of fairy tale and historical drama mixed in all together, which I think is very cool. Plus the design of these characters are very cool too. I love how they look, not just physical, but the clothing and all that. It's very intriguing to me. So it's one that I'm looking forward to pick up and read and catch up before the fourth volume comes out in May, for sure. Continue.
All right, next up we have Turns Out My Online Friend is a Real Life Boss, Volume 1. So Hashimoto has this job where he is like really stressed because his boss is a perfectionist. And so he's constantly having to redo his work over and over again to his boss's liking. And so because of all the stress after work, he turns to the only thing that could relieve his stress, which is online gaming. And he has this online friend that he always games with, and has a like a username that like he's known by, right? And he doesn't know who this person is in real life, right? It's just this online friend that like he games with. But then come to find out that his best friend online is actually turns out to be his boss. That's surprise, not surprise, it's in the name of the the manga, right? So this is a friend, or this is for fans, I should say, of Cherry Magic, which I loved, of Candy Color Paradox, which I also very much love. So definitely something that is on my radar because it sounds like a whole bunch of fun for anybody who's really liking the Office BL romance. This is the one for you. So yeah,
Very cool.
I like how there's a slime
Oh,
on the
sorry.
cover too.
There's a what?
A little like a slime bubble
Oh,
at
the
the end
little
of
slime
like
bubble at the bottom. Yeah, and he has. I love that he's holding a sword, but it's like a like pixelated.
yeah,
So
it's
it's
like
like
you're
a
making references to like
yeah,
games with trying not to make those direct
yeah. I know,
references,
very
but
like a little bit
yeah,
indirect
yeah.
references. That's very cool. Yeah. And speaking of feeling like a game or references or all that, this is reincarnated as a Jacqueline Hatchling light novel, volume 6, and it's by Nekoko and illustrated by Naji Janagira. So this is the story. This is an isekai. This is like the title suggests, the hero was reincarnated into a new world as a dragon hatchling, which recently has become more and more common. We have, people not just reincarnated as human, but as a monsters, as various things. And of course, you mentioned slime. There's the very famous how I got reincarnated as a slime. But in this case, he's reincarnated as a dragon hatchling in a world where not just dragons exist, but also they have big relationships with interact with humans, and so it's one of those worlds. And I I was looking through all the reviews because this all sounds like, oh, just another isekai, but there's a lot of comments of loving this manga, this light novel in this case, but there's also the manga, that it's especially because of the world building, but also because of the character relationship, and because you have this main character who's not really human. It kind of gives a different perspective, and also but it gives you all the best from what an action isekai fantasy should be. So I'm really excited. This is, I mean, if you watch these videos, I mention this all the time, and she knows very well that I'm a huge fan of isekais, and this one is one of the better ones from recent memory. So I highly recommend this one too. And I believe there was adaptation coming. I'm not completely 100% sure, but I thought I saw some news about it. So but definitely a very cool read, and something that it's somebody's looking for a new isekai, something solid and very good. This is a recommendation that I would make. Okay, so now we're gonna move on. Those are the picks, and now we're gonna move on
The
to
the
number
box sets
ones
and the
and
volume
box
ones.
sets,
Yeah.
and it's
And
just
I'm
you,
actually
right?
starting first here. We have the very anticipated Blue Period manga box set. So this blew into popularity because of the Netflix anime that came out. So this will include volumes 1 to 6 of Blue Period. It also have an exclusive coloring book slipped in there, which is
Yeah.
quite nice.
Yes.
And um, so I talked about Kai X Yaku, but if you like that kind of story, we also have Mobsters in Love Volume 1, which is like, you should pick up both of them. This one
Yes.
is BL, a rom-com between a handsome but oblivious mob boss and his young but simple-hearted and moody second in command.
Yeah.
Love it. And then we have Monster Cats Volume 1 by Panadia. And this is a full colored manga comic about humans living with adorably monstrous cats. And as you can see with the art, very similar because it's the same creator as Yokai Cats and the
Yeah.
Evil Secret Society of Cats. Uh, and then moving on, we have My Girlfriend's Not Here Today, Volume 1. This is Yuri, Girls Love Tale. This is a creator of Transparent Light Blue. And this is one young woman becomes trapped in a cycle of blackmail and infidelity. I think I mentioned this before when this was first announced because I was
Yeah.
really interested in this.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So really cool. We're finally getting this in May after
Yeah.
a long wait from Seven Seas. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, you skipped the word there. Salacious Jury Girls Law, by the way. And with the cover, you can tell it's very salacious.
Yes.
Um, and we continue with Only the Stars Know, a self-contained boys love romance about two men connecting after a serendipitous first meeting by the creator of The Two Lions,
I
also
can't
from
wait.
Seven
I love
Seas.
Two Lions. So this
Yeah.
is gonna be fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you've talked about Two Lions before, so
Yeah.
yeah. And then we continue with True Loves Fade Away When the Contract Ends, manga volume 1. In this romantic show, you'll say period drama, a noblewoman and nobleman pretend to be in love to avoid getting married. And don't miss the light novel version also from 17. So this is very Mr. and Mrs. Smith for those of you who have not only seen the Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt movie, but the TV series that was all recently streaming, which also has two spies that had to pretend that they're married. Um, then the journey fox lies in wait. It's a 1920s Tokyo. Prodigy has finally made it to university, only to find himself in a tough spot. He happens upon Ozaki, who invites him to live in his mansion, but Ozaki just a recluse, but is Ozaki just a recluse or something far stranger? Supernatural one-volume BL romance from the creator of Turns Out My Online Friend is My Real Life Boss, which is
What
one of your
I
picks.
picked,
One of
so
your picks.
you have additional options here that you
Yeah,
can
we give you, not you can't you don't have to just stay in the first few volumes of one. You can go to other ones. Get your fix. And speaking of fixes, Mysterious Disappearance, Volume 1, a novelist teams up with a demonic colleague to solve supernatural urban mysteries, and don't miss the anime. Yes, the anime is coming, I believe, in the summer. No, sorry, it's coming now in the spring. I just did a list, and it's a video on our YouTube channel, which takes you through the titles that are coming for the spring list, and this is one of them. Sorry. Um, and looking really forward to this one, of course. And that's it for box sets and number one. We're going to leave you with the rest of the list so you can check it out. So thank you so much for watching this. Like we said before, we're on social media, so you can follow us on X, on Facebook, Instagram, on YouTube. Uh, we'll leave just the links below. I think this was your part. Sorry.
it's fine.
I took over, but that's fine. It's okay. Um, I might as well finish.
You can
So,
say goodbye. I will say goodbye
goodbye,
too.
and thank you for watching this. Bye.
Bye.